Welcome to the 39th Annual Mississippi College Academic Competition. The competition began the year with 20 teams from high schools across the state. Teams are matched in quiz-like competition, utilizing questions developed and tested for the high school level. Our goal is to recognize academic knowledge, to encourage learning, and to foster the spirit of competition and fair play. We have reached the quarterfinals, and this match features Mississippi Pinebelt Scholars and West Lauderdale High School. Let's meet the teams.
Ryan Wheat, and I am a sophomore.
Isaac Overland, and I am a freshman.
Jayden Hibbetts, I'm a senior.
Walker Pierce, senior.
Haley Riles, junior.
Emily Snodgrass, junior.
Drew Eakes, senior.
Will Garrison, senior.
Isabel Morrison, senior.
Zoe Clymer, senior.
Aaron Teller, junior.
At the end of round one, the preliminary score is Mississippi Pinebelt Scholars 65, West Lauderdale 45. We move into round two, toss-up questions with bonus questions. We begin with a math question for 10 points. If an ace is drawn from a 52-card deck and not put back, what is the probability that the next card drawn will be another ace?
Mississippi Pinebelt, Isaac.
3 out of 51.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify each of the following concerning the words very little. For 5 points, what literary character once said, "I am a bear of very little brain, and long words bother me"?
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
For 10 points, January 1848 discovery in California that created very little excitement until President Polk expressed enthusiasm about it in his message to Congress on December 5th, 1848.
Discovery of gold in 1848. It's the gold rush.
Gold Rush.
Sorry, you were done.
No.
Gold instead of gold rush.
No.
No,
They said gold
the
rush, so maybe
discovery
just
of gold. So we're going to move back to a toss-up question for 15 points. Give the nickname of the Duke of Normandy earned on October 14th, 1066.
Mississippi Pinebelt, Walker.
The Conqueror.
Yes.
All right. We go back to a bonus question. For 5 points, within 7%, how much of the world's photosynthesis do algae perform?
Something like 60%, is it? Just say 60.
60.
No.
It's too high.
70%.
No.
The answer would be 90%, and we would have accepted 83% to 97%. So we're going to go back to a toss-up question for 5 points. Which city, once called Edo, meaning estuary gate?
Mississippi Pinebelt, Walker.
Tokyo.
Yes.
And we go back to bonus questions. Identify each of the following concerning Kentucky. For 5 points, the native Kentuckian who served as president of the Union during the Civil War.
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yes.
For 10 points, the native Kentuckian who served as president of the Confederacy.
No, it's not. It is Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis.
Yes.
For 15 points, the Kentuckian who served as vice president to Harry S. Truman.
No clue who that is. No. You can say Eisenhower, I guess.
Eisenhower.
No.
No. West Lauderdale.
I think he was a general, but Troy there. He might have just been a general, I'm not sure.
Douglas MacArthur.
No.
It's going to be Alban W. Barkley. We go back to a toss-up for 10 points. For 20 points. Identify the American sculptor based in Roxbury, Connecticut, who executed one piece for Expo 67 in Montreal, Canada, and has another hanging in the International Arrivals building at Kennedy International Airport. He is known for his mobiles and stables.
Mississippi Pinebelt, Walker.
Pool.
No. West Lauderdale, Will.
Thomas Smith.
No.
It's going to be Alexander Calder. We go to a math question for 10 points. What is the sum of the repeating digits of the decimal form of any proper fraction having a denominator of 11?
West Lauderdale, Drew.
12.
No. Mississippi Pinebelt, Walker.
1.
No.
Yeah, the answer is going to be 9. It's a toss-up question for 20 points. Which phrase that today designates the threat of impending danger or doom is derived from the Greek legend concerning a sycophant who, at a lavish banquet, discovers hanging over his head a sharp object suspended by a single thread?
Mississippi Pinebelt, Walker.
Tantalin.
No.
No answer from West Lauderdale. It's going to be Damocles. That concludes the end of round 2. We'll be back in a moment with a preliminary score. At the end of round 2, the preliminary score is Mississippi Pinebelt Scholars 115 points, West Lauderdale High School 45 points. We move into round 3, toss-up questions with bonus. We'll start with a 15-point toss-up. Identify the French author nicknamed the Fourth Musketeer.
Mississippi Pinebelt, Walker.
Dumas.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify the continent on which each of the following mountain ranges is located. For 5 points, the Andes Mountains.
South America.
Yes.
For 10 points, the Hindu Kush Mountains.
Asia.
Yes.
For 15 points, the Atlas Mountains.
Africa.
Yes.
And for 20 points, the Carpathian Mountains.
Europe.
Yes.
And we go back to a toss-up for 15 points. Identify the mountain in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park that is the highest in the Great Smoky Mountains.
West Lauderdale, Emily.
Lookout Mountain.
No. Mississippi Pinebelt, Walker.
Walters Mountain.
No.
It's going to be Klingman's Dome. For 15 points, the Berlin Wall fell on November the 9th, 1989. In which year did the last German emperor, Kaiser Wilhelm II, resign in disgrace on the same date as World War I drew to a close?
Mississippi Pinebelt, Walker.
1918.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify each of the following concerning novelists who have won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. For 5 points, winner in 1955 for A Fable and in 1963 for The Reivers.
Anyone? It's not Bradbury. Wilson. Robertson. Just say random name.
Bradbury.
No.
West Lauderdale.
Tolkien.
It's going to be William Faulkner. We go back to a toss-up question for 10 points. The so-called effect suggested by a 1993 study showing that listening to 10 minutes of the music of an Austrian musician before a spatial skills test appeared to improve performance has now been called into question. Name this effect.
Mississippi Pinebelt, Walker.
The classical music effect.
No. East Lauderdale, Emily.
The Mozart effect.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Answer each of the following concerning words. For 5 points, which word from the Latin for shepherd designates a type of poetry whose subject is nature and rural folkways?
Haiku.
No.
Pastoral.
Yes.
That is correct. And so we move back to a toss-up question. It's going to be a math question for 10 points. A 45 60, 75, or 90 degrees, which one is a solution of the equation 2 sine 2x equals 1? No answer from either team. The answer was 75 degrees. For 10 points, how many protons are in the nitrogen nucleus?
West Lauderdale, Emily.
12.
No. Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
11.
No.
It's going to be 7. For 15 points, which U.S. president was married to Ellen Axon and Edith Bowling? The former died in 1914, and the latter, known as the Shepherdess, because she put sheep on the White House lawn during the war to keep it trim, became his wife in 1915.
Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
Theodore Roosevelt.
No. West Lauderdale, Will.
Woodrow Wilson.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Give the word that ends each of the following first lines of a nursery rhyme. For 5 points, 3 little kittens, they lost their...
Mittens.
Mittens.
Yes.
For 10 points, Simple Simon met a...
Just say girl.
Diamond.
No. Mississippi Pine Belt.
I don't know. Just say Pyman. Whatever you.
Pyman.
Yes.
Yes, that is correct. And that concludes round 3. We'll be back in a moment with a preliminary score. At the end of round 3, the score is Mississippi Pine Belt Scholars 210, West Lauderdale High School 75. We move into the 4th and final round, and we start with a toss-up question worth 20 points. Which of Henry VIII's wives was the mother of Queen Elizabeth I?
West Lauderdale, Isabel.
Anne Boleyn.
Yes.
It's a math question for 10 points. If an airplane leaves its base and travels due south at 600 miles per hour for 30 minutes, and then due east at 400 miles per hour for 1 hour, how many miles is it from its home base?
West Lauderdale, Will.
500 miles.
Yes.
For 10 points, what name is given to the evening of November 9th, 1938, when Nazi youths went on a rampage randomly?
Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
Kristallnacht.
Yes.
For 10 points, which U.S. state capital, known as the Cornhusker Capital City, is the location of the William Jennings Bryan home?
Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
Iowa.
No. West Lauderdale, Emily.
Des Moines.
No.
It's going to be Lincoln. For 10 points, in 1960, Theodore Myman of the U.S. became the first to build and operate which device that amplifies light into a powerful beam?
Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
Laser.
Yes.
It's a math question for 10 points. If one angle of an isosceles triangle is known to be 27 degrees, then what is the largest possible measure of an angle in this triangle?
West Lauderdale, Will.
126.
Yes.
For 15 points, in which disease, whose name is derived from Latin words meaning artery and hardening, do the walls of the arteries thicken and stiffen?
West Lauderdale, Drew.
Coronary disease.
No. Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
Arthritis.
No.
It's going to be arteriosclerosis. For 20 points, what H word is the process used to improve the quality of oils and to prepare gasoline?
Mississippi Pine Belt, Isaac.
Hydrogenating.
Yes.
For 10 points, in which novel set in Alabama does Jim say that the story?
Mississippi Pine Belt, Jayden.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes.
For 10 points, which U.S. capital, named for a Puritan-founded city in Massachusetts, derives its name from the Hebrew word for peace?
Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
Salem, Oregon.
Yes.
For 20 points, name the British natural philosopher who discovered that the stretching of an elastic material is proportional to the force applied to it.
Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
Bacon?
No.
No answer from West Lauderdale. It's Robert Hooke. For 10 points, identify the animal Corvus corax, the visitor from the Night's Plutonian shore, in a poem by Edgar.
West Lauderdale, Drew.
Raven.
Yes.
For 10 points, which scaleless fish of the order Scyliformis, raised commercially on fish farms in the U.S. for food, has whiskers called...
Mississippi Pine Belt, Jayden.
Catfish.
Yes.
For 10 points, identify the Hawaiian word beginning with L for a feast.
West Lauderdale, Isabel.
Luau.
Yes.
Grab your pencil for this one. It's worth 10 points. How many diagonals can be drawn inside a pentagon?
West Lauderdale, Isabel.
4.
No. Mississippi Pine Belt, Isaac.
100.
No.
It's going to be 5. For 10 points, the signature skyscraper at the World Trade Center site is the Freedom Tower, or One World Trade Center, a glass tower that twists into the sky. How many feet tall is this tower, including the spire?
Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
2001?
No. West Lauderdale, Will.
2002.
No.
It's going to be 1,776 feet. We go back to a math question for 10 points. What is the largest positive integer that satisfies the inequality x squared is less than 9 times x?
West Lauderdale, Drew. Yes.
For 10 points, what is the primary purpose of platelets in human blood?
Mississippi Pine Belt, Walker.
Coagulation?
Yes.
For 10 points. And that concludes round 4. We'll be back in a moment with a final score for this match. After 4 rounds of play, the final score is Mississippi Pine Belt Scholars 290, West Lauderdale High School 145. Mississippi Pine Belt Scholars advance to the semifinal round.